I was standing in my own driveway, holding a trash bag that contained the last 42 years of my life. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the plastic. Inside were photo albums, my wedding album, pictures of my husband holding our newborn son, our anniversary trips, his retirement party, the letter he wrote me the night before he died. All of it, in the trash. I looked up at my house, the one Robert and I bought in 1982, the one where we raised David, the one where Robert took his last breath 2 years ago in our bedroom upstairs. Through the kitchen window, I could see her, Brittany, my daughter-in-law. She was laughing on the phone, her blonde hair perfect, her manicured nails, gesturing dramatically as she talked. She had no idea I was out here, no idea I'd come home early from my doctor's appointment, no idea I'd found the trash bag she'd left by the garage. I pulled out one of the albums, careful not to let it touch the actual garbage. The leather cover was dusty but intact. I opened it. There was Robert on our wedding day, looking at me like I was the only person in the world. My chest tightened. Old junk, she'd called it. I'd heard her say it to David last week. Your mom needs to let go of all that old junk. I need the space for my makeup station. I closed the album and looked back at my house. When had it stopped being mine? When had I become a guest in my own home? I knew the answer. It happened slowly. So slowly I didn't realize it was happening until it was done. Let me back up. I need to explain how I got here. How a woman who worked for 40 years as a hospital administrator, who raised a son alone after her husband's heart attack, who owned 7 rental properties across 3 counties, ended up living like a servant in her own house. It started 6 months ago. Robert had been gone 2 years. The grief was still fresh, still heavy, but I was managing. I had my routine. Coffee on the back porch every morning, volunteering at the hospital on Tuesdays. Book club on Thursdays. My rental properties kept me comfortable, more than comfortable. Robert and I had been smart with money. We'd invested in real estate when it was cheap, paid off every property, built something solid. David knew we owned the house, but he didn't know about the rental properties. Robert and I had always kept our finances private. We didn't raise David to expect anything. We wanted him to work for what he had, to understand the value of money. Maybe that was our first mistake. David called me one Tuesday evening. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something." He sounded serious. My stomach dropped. Was he sick? Was Brittany sick? They'd only been married 8 months. "Brittany and I are having some trouble with our apartment," he said. "The landlord is selling the building. We have to move out by the end of the month." "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Are you looking for a new place?" "Actually, Mom, we were hoping we could stay with you, just temporarily. Maybe 3 months while we save up for a down payment on a house." I should have said no. I should have offered to loan them money instead. I should have done anything except what I did. "Of course," I said. "You're my son. This is your home too." That Friday, they moved in. David carried boxes up to his old bedroom. Brittany directed him from the bottom of the stairs, checking her phone, barely acknowledging me when I offered to help. "We really appreciate this, Mrs. Morrison," she said, not looking up. She never called me Margaret, never called me Mom. Always Mrs. Morrison, formal and distant. "Please call me Margaret, and your family now. Stay as long as you need." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, we will." The first week was fine. They kept to themselves. David went to work at the accounting firm. Brittany said she was between jobs and spent most days in their room or on the couch watching TV. The second week, she started rearranging things. I came home from book club to find my living room furniture moved. The couch where Robert and I used to watch movies together was gone. "I donated it," Brittany said cheerfully. "It was so old and saggy. I ordered a new sectional. It'll be here Friday." I stood there, speechless. That couch was where Robert napped every Sunday afternoon, where we'd sit together and talk after David went to bed, where I'd held Robert's hand during his last weeks when he was too weak to go upstairs. "You donated my couch?" "Our couch now, right?" She smiled. "We're all living here together. I thought we should make it nice. That old thing was from the 80s. It was from 1985. Robert and I picked it out together for our anniversary." Her smile faded. "Well, it's gone now. The new one is better. You'll love it." I didn't love it, but I didn't say anything. David came home and saw my face. "Mom, what's wrong?" "Nothing. I'm fine." He looked relieved. Brittany looped her arm through his. "Your mom loves the new couch, don't you?" I nodded. David smiled, and I learned to keep my mouth shut. The third week, she took over the kitchen. My pots and pans disappeared. My dishes went to Goodwill. "Nobody uses this heavy stuff anymore," she explained. "I got us a nice new set. Modern. Lightweight." The pots had been my mother's. The dishes were from our wedding registry. I found them at Goodwill the next day. I bought back my mother's cast iron skillet for $7. The fourth week, she redecorated David's bedroom, which was fine. It was their room now. But then she started on the hallway, then the dining room. Then she asked David to help her move things out of the master bedroom. My bedroom. "Mom, Brittany thinks we should take the master since we're a couple. You don't need all that space anyway. The guest room is really nice." The guest room was 10 feet by 10 feet with a twin bed. The master bedroom was where Robert died, where I still felt close to him, where his clothes still hung in the closet because I wasn't ready to let them go yet. "The guest room?" My voice cracked. "Just temporarily, Mom, until we move out, please. It would mean a lot to Brittany." I looked at my son, my sweet boy who used to climb into bed with us during thunderstorms, who used to help Robert fix things around the house, who used to call me every Sunday when he moved out just to check in. When had he stopped being that boy? "Okay," I whispered. I moved my things to the guest room that weekend. Brittany immediately started redecorating the master. New paint, new bedding. Robert's clothes went into trash bags. "Wait," I said, grabbing one of his shirts. "I'm not ready to get rid of these yet. Mrs. Morrison, he's been gone 2 years. This isn't healthy. You need to move on." I clutched the shirt to my chest. It still smelled like him, like his cologne and Old Spice and home. "Please, just let me keep them a little longer." She sighed dramatically. "Fine, but they can't stay in this closet. I need the space. Put them in the garage or something." I carried the bags to the garage. I sat on the concrete floor, surrounded by Robert's things, and cried until I couldn't breathe. The 5th week, Brittany stopped working entirely. "I'm taking a break," she announced. "David makes enough for both of us." She spent her days redecorating, shopping online, meeting friends for lunch. She started asking me to do things, small things at first. "Mrs. Morrison, can you throw in a load of laundry while you're home?" "Mrs. Morrison, can you pick up my dry cleaning on your way back from volunteering?" "Mrs. Morrison, David and I are having friends over tonight. Can you make yourself scarce? Maybe go to a movie or something?" I went to a movie. Sat in the theater alone, eating popcorn I didn't want, watching a film I didn't care about, because I'd been asked to leave my own house. The 6th week, she stopped asking and started telling. "I need you to clean the bathrooms today. David and I have people coming over. I need you to grocery shop. Here's a list. I need you to pick up dinner. David's working late and I don't feel like cooking." I did it all. Every task, every errand. I told myself it was temporary. They'd move out soon. Just a few more weeks. But the months kept passing. 3 months became 4. 4 became 5. They stopped looking at apartments. Brittany stopped talking about saving for a house. David started saying things like, "We're comfortable here and why rush?" And then yesterday happened. Yesterday, Brittany told me she was redecorating the den. "It's going to be my yoga studio," she said. "I need you to clear out all that old stuff." The den was full of Robert's things, his books, his Navy medals from Vietnam, his model ship collection, the shadow box with his retirement plaque, our photo albums. "That's not old stuff," I said quietly. "Those are memories. They're taking up space. I'll be nice about it, Mrs. Morrison. I'll donate them instead of just throwing them out." "You're not donating Robert's things." Her eyes narrowed. "This is my house too now. David and I live here. We should have a say in how it looks. It's my house. Actually, you keep saying it's David's house too, his childhood home. So technically, it's partially his, and he's my husband. So what's his is mine." I felt something break inside me. Not break, crack. Like ice on a pond when the weight gets too heavy. "Please don't touch Robert's things." She smiled. Sweet as sugar, Poisonous as arsenic. Of course, Mrs. Morrison. I would never do that without your permission. I went to my doctor's appointment this morning, annual checkup. Everything was fine. I came home early, and that's when I found the trash bags. I'm still standing in the driveway, still holding the photo albums. I can see Brittany through the window, still on the phone, still laughing. Something happens in that moment. Something crystallizes. I think about Robert, about what he would say if he could see this, about how he always told me I was too nice, too accommodating, too willing to let people walk on me to keep the peace. You've got to stand up for yourself, Maggie, he'd say. People will take everything you give them and ask for more. You've got to draw a line. I never drew a line. Not with my parents, not with difficult coworkers, not with anyone. I was always the peacemaker, the accommodator, the one who bent so others didn't have to break. But I'm done bending. I pull out my phone and call Janet. Janet Carmichael, my lawyer and Robert's best friend from college. She handled our estate planning, our rental properties, all our legal needs for 30 years. Margaret, how are you? I was just thinking about you. We need to discuss the Johnson property. The tenants are 3 months behind on rent. Which property is that? The bungalow on Maple Street. The young couple, Richard and Susan Barnes. Freeze. Barnes? Yes. Why? Do you know them? Richard and Susan Barnes, Brittany's parents. I've met them twice, once at the wedding, once at Christmas. They'd mentioned they were renting a house on Maple Street. I never made the connection. I own 14 properties across 3 counties. I don't know every tenant's name. But now I do. Janet, I need to come to your office. Right now. Can you fit me in? Of course. Is everything okay? It will be. I carry the trash bags into the garage. I don't put them back in the trash. I put them in my car. Evidence. Then I walk into my house. Brittany is still on the phone. She glances at me, annoyed at the interruption. I need to talk to you, I say calmly. She holds up a finger. Wait, like I'm a child interrupting grown-up conversation. I walk to the living room and unplug the router. What the hell? She stares at her phone. Mrs. Morrison, I was on a call. And now you're not. We need to talk. Plug that back in right now. No. She stands up. She's 28, tall, beautiful. She's used to getting what she wants. Used to men falling over themselves to please her. Used to controlling situations with her looks, her charm, her carefully calculated tears. None of that works on me anymore. What is your problem? She demands. I found the trash bags. Her face doesn't change. What trash bags? Robert's photo albums, his medals, our memories, in the garage, in the trash. She shrugs. I told you I needed that space. I told you not to touch his things. And I told you this is my house too. My yoga studio is more important than some dusty old books. Get out. She laughs. Excuse me? Get out of my house. This is David's house too. I'm not going anywhere. You're his mother. You're supposed to help us. That's what mothers do. I am helping you. I'm teaching you what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. Her eyes narrow. You can't kick me out. David will never allow it. Then David can leave with you. You'd choose some dead man's junk over your own son? The slap happens before I realize I'm going to do it. My hand connects with her cheek, hard. The sound echoes in the room. We both stand there, shocked. I've never hit anyone in my life. Brittany's hand goes to her face. Her eyes fill with tears. Real ones this time. You hit me. Get out of my house. I'm calling David. I'm calling the police. You can't do this. Call whoever you want. But you're leaving. Today. She grabs her phone and runs upstairs. I hear her crying, talking frantically to David. I hear words like crazy and attacked me, and not safe here. I sit down on the new couch, the one that replaced mine and Robert's. My hand is shaking. My cheek is wet. I'm crying and I didn't even realize it. What have I done? 30 minutes later, David bursts through the door. Brittany is right behind him, her face red and blotchy, still crying. Mom, what the hell? Brittany said, you hit her. I did. He stops, stares at me. You hit my wife? She threw away your father's things. After I explicitly told her not to, she called him some dead man's junk. So you hit her? Yes. Mom, you can't just hit people. What's wrong with you? I stand up. I'm tired. So tired. Tired of bending. Tired of keeping the peace. Tired of being walked on. I want you both out of my house. Your house? Brittany's voice is shrill. You keep saying that like you own everything. This is David's childhood home. He has as much right to be here as you. He has the right to visit. He doesn't have the right to take over. We're family. She's crying harder now. You're supposed to help family. My parents would never treat me this way. Your parents, I say slowly, are 3 months behind on their rent. She freezes. What? Richard and Susan Barnes, the bungalow on Maple Street. They're my tenants. They haven't paid rent in 3 months. The color drains from her face. You're lying. Call them and ask. David looks confused. Mom, you don't own rental properties. Your father and I own 7 properties. Owned. I own them now. The bungalow on Maple Street is one of them. You're a landlord? Brittany's voice is barely a whisper. Yes, but you're poor. David said you were living on a small pension, that you needed us to help with expenses. That's why we moved in. I look at my son. Is that what you told her? He has the grace to look ashamed, I thought. I mean, you always seemed like you didn't have much money. You never talked about it. And after Dad died, I thought, you thought wrong. Your father and I built something substantial. I don't need help with expenses. I never did. Brittany's face goes from pale to red. Are you serious right now? You let me redecorate and take over and act like I was doing you a favor by living here, and you're actually rich? I'm not rich. I'm comfortable. There's a difference. This whole time you've been playing some kind of game? No. I've been watching you show your true character. She turns to David. Did you know about this? No. Mom, why didn't you tell me? Because your father and I wanted you to make your own way. We didn't want you to expect anything from us. We wanted you to work hard, to appreciate what you earned. So instead you let me think you were broke and needed help? I let you think what you wanted to think. I never asked you to move in. I never asked you to support me. You offered. I accepted. The rest is what you two decided was true. Brittany starts pacing. This is insane. You're insane. David, tell her she's insane. David just stares at me. Mom, I don't understand. Why didn't you say something when she started redecorating? Because I wanted to keep the peace. Because you're my son, and I didn't want to cause problems in your marriage. Because I thought love meant accommodation. It does, Brittany snaps. That's what family does. They accommodate each other. Accommodation goes both ways. You've done nothing but take since the day you moved in. You got rid of my things. You took my bedroom. You treated me like a servant in my own home. And when I asked you not to touch your father's belongings, you threw them in the trash. Because you need to move on. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years for me. It's been 0 years for you. You didn't know him. You don't get to decide when I'm done grieving. David sinks onto the couch. Brittany, did you really throw away Dad's stuff? It was just old photo albums and some medals. They were taking up space. Those medals were from Vietnam. Dad was a Navy corpsman. He saved lives. Those albums were our family history. His voice cracks. How could you throw them away? I was going to donate them. They were in the trash. Well, They were in the trash, Brittany. She starts crying again. I was just trying to make a nice home for us. Your mother wouldn't let go of the past. Everything was about your dad, your dad, your dad. I'm your wife. What about me? What about you? I ask quietly. What have you contributed? What have you given? You don't work. You don't pay rent. You don't even say thank you. I don't have to thank you for living in my husband's house. It's not your husband's house. It's mine. And your parents' house is mine too. And unless they pay the 3 months of back rent they owe me by the end of this week, I'm starting eviction proceedings. Brittany's face goes white. You wouldn't. Try me. David, she grabs his arm. Tell her she can't do this. He pulls away. I don't know what to tell you, Brittany. You threw away my dad's things. It was an accident. It wasn't an accident. You did it on purpose, after she asked you not to. Whose side are you on? There shouldn't be sides. We're supposed to be family. Exactly. So tell your mother to stop being crazy and let us stay. He looks at me. Really looks at me. I see him seeing me for the first time in months, not as Mom, the background character, but as Margaret Morrison, the woman who raised him alone after his father died young, the woman who worked full-time and still made it to every baseball game, the woman who taught him to drive and helped him through college and held him when his heart got broken, the woman who's been slowly disappearing in her own home. Mom, A says quietly, I'm sorry. I nod. My throat is too tight to speak. We'll leave. Tonight. I'll get a hotel room. We'll find an apartment this week. David, no! Brittany's voice rises. We can't afford a hotel. Tell her we're staying. We're not staying, Brittany. But we're not. Get your things. She looks between us, her mouth opening and closing. Then she storms upstairs. David sits there, head in his hands. I really messed up, didn't I? Yes. I don't know how it got this bad. It was just supposed to be a few months, and then she'd redecorate one thing, and I'd think it was fine because we were all family, and then another thing, and I didn't see it happening. I didn't see what she was doing to you. Or you didn't want to see it. He flinches. Yeah, maybe. David, I need you to understand something. I love you. You're my son. I would do anything for you. But love doesn't mean letting someone destroy me. I won't disappear just to keep you comfortable. I would never ask you to. You already did. You just didn't use those words. He looks at me with tears in his eyes. What do I do now? You figure out what kind of man you want to be. And you start being him. Upstairs we hear Brittany slamming drawers and throwing things. David stands up slowly. I'll go help her pack. He pauses at the stairs. Mom, I'm really sorry. I know. After they leave, I sit in the quiet house. I walk through each room. I see all the changes, the new furniture, the new paint, the walls where Robert's pictures used to hang. Tomorrow, I'll start putting it back. I'll repaint. I'll find new furniture that I choose. I'll hang Robert's pictures again. But tonight, I just sit in his recliner, the one thing Brittany didn't throw away because it was in the garage. I wrap myself in his old cardigan that I saved from the trash bags. And I let myself cry for everything I lost. Not just Robert, but 6 months of myself. 6 months of letting someone else decide who I was supposed to be in my own home. The next morning, I call Janet and go to her office. She's waiting with coffee and sympathy. Tell me everything. I do. All of it. The redecorating, the bedroom, the trash bags, the slap, the eviction. When I finish, she leans back in her chair. First, let's address the assault. You hit her. I know. She could press charges. I know. She probably won't. It would make her look bad in the divorce. You think David will divorce her? Margaret, she threw away a veteran's medals. That's not something a man forgives. Not a good man. And your son is a good man. He just forgot for a while. She pulls out a folder. Now, let's talk about the Barnes property. 3 months behind. That's $3,600 in back rent plus late fees. I've sent notice but no response. Do you want to proceed with eviction? I think about Brittany's face when she found out. The shock, the fear. I should feel guilty. I don't. Give them 1 more week. If they can't pay, proceed with eviction. And the mother and son? Do you want a restraining order? No. David will stay away on his own. He needs time to figure things out. What about when he reaches out? Then we'll see. I'm not closing that door forever. But it's locked for now. Janet smiles. You know, Robert would be proud of you. For slapping my daughter-in-law. For finally standing up for yourself. He worried about you. Said you'd let people walk all over you just to avoid conflict. He was right. But not anymore. No. Not anymore. 2 weeks later, David calls. I let it go to voicemail. He calls again. And again. On the 5th call, I answer. Hi, Mom. Hello, David. I've been trying to reach you. I know. I wanted to tell you. Brittany and I are separating. I filed for divorce yesterday. I should feel sad. He's my son and his marriage is ending, but all I feel is relief. I'm sorry. I'm not. You were right. About everything. I didn't see it. Or I did and I didn't want to admit it. She married me because she thought I had money. When she found out I didn't, she started looking for it. Started going through my things. She found paperwork, old documents from when Dad died, life insurance information. She thought there was a big payout I was keeping from her. There wasn't. We used it to pay off the house. I know that now. But she didn't believe it. That's why she was so focused on the house. She thought if she could control the house, control you, she'd eventually get to the money she was sure existed. David. I'm so sorry, Mom. For everything. For not seeing it. For not protecting you. For letting her treat you that way. You're my son, I love you. But I need time. I understand. Take all the time you need. I needed you to know I'm sorry. And that I'm working on being better. Being the man Dad would want me to be. That's all I want for you. Can I ask? The property Brittany's parents are renting. Are you still evicting them? They paid the back rent. They're current now. Brittany told them you were going to evict them unless they paid immediately. They took out a second mortgage to come up with the money. I hadn't known that. I gave them a week to pay. They paid in 3 days. They're terrified of you. Good. Maybe they'll think twice before they're late again. He laughs. Soft and sad. You're different. Yes. I miss who you were. I don't. There's a long silence. I'll let you go, Mom. But I'd like to see you sometime. When you're ready. We'll see. I love you. I love you too. 6 months later, David comes for dinner. Just him. No Brittany. No expectations. Just my son, sitting at my kitchen table, eating pot roast with my mother's cast iron skillet sitting on the stove. He looks around. You redecorated. I put it back the way it was. Mostly. Some things I changed, some things I liked better new. It looks good. It looks like home again. It is home. Mine. Mom, can I ask you something? Of course. Why didn't you tell me about the rental properties? About the money? If I'd known, none of this would have happened. If you'd known, you would have made different choices for the wrong reasons. You needed to build your own life, not wait for mine. But I struggled sometimes. Brittany and I fought about money. If I'd known there was a safety net, there was never going to be a safety net. Your father and I worked hard for what we built. You needed to work hard for what you build. Money that comes easy goes easy. Money you earn, you respect. I guess I never thought of it that way. That's because you're young. You'll understand when you're older. I'm 36. Like I said. Young. He smiles. I got a promotion. Senior accountant. 20% raise. That's wonderful. I got my own apartment. 1 bedroom. Downtown. It's small, but it's mine. I paid the deposit myself. First and last month's rent. All of it. I'm proud of you. I've been thinking a lot. About Dad. About what he taught me. I remember him saying once that a man's character shows in how he treats people who can't do anything for him. I failed that test with you. You're young. You'll get other chances. I want to do better. Then do better. We eat in comfortable silence. I watch my son. I see Robert in him. The way he holds his fork. The way he chews slowly, thoughtfully. The way he looks at me with those same brown eyes. Do you hate me? He asks quietly. No. Do you forgive me? I'm working on it. That's fair. David, I need you to understand something. What happened these past months, it changed me. I'm not going to go back to being the woman who says yes to everything, who accommodates everyone, who disappears to make others comfortable. I don't want you to. I like you better now. You said you miss who I was. I miss parts of her, the soft parts, but you're stronger now. You stand up for yourself. That's good. That's how you should have always been. I'm still learning. Me too. He helps me wash dishes. We stand side by side at the sink, him washing, me drying, just like when he was a boy and Robert would sit at the table reading the newspaper, calling out baseball scores. Mom? Yes? Thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. For loving me even when I didn't deserve it. For teaching me what boundaries look like. I put down the dish towel and hug him. He's tall, taller than Robert was, but he feels small in my arms, like my boy again. You'll always be my son, but you have to earn back my trust. I will. I promise. Good. After he leaves, I sit on my porch with coffee, the same porch where Robert and I used to sit every morning, where he'd tell me about his dreams, where we'd make plans for retirement that never came. I think about how everything changed, how I changed, how I finally learned to draw a line in the sand and say enough. It cost me 6 months of my life. It cost me my relationship with my son for a while. It cost me my peace. But I got something back, something more valuable than peace. I got myself back. And that, I realize as I watch the sun set over my house, my yard, my life, is worth everything.